we have a very special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Ryan Hawthorne, and I'm a professional wrestler.
How are you today?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Doing good. So can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Sure, absolutely. So I started my professional wrestling journey back in 2018. In 2018, I started training with Cody Hawk back in Hamilton, Ohio. And I trained there for probably about 8 months or so, and then kind of put wrestling aside to focus on other things because I would have to drive from Indiana to Ohio about 3 hours back and forth each week. And it just got to be too much with work. Just being, kind of tired, and just the traveling and everything got to me. So then my passion for wrestling never died down. And then it just, eventually after COVID, after seeing the crowds and everything and seeing my passion got fueled even more. I would always watch it still. But once the crowd started coming back and then seeing how impactful, moves had on the crowds and everything like that, I really wanted to do it. I lived in Nashville at that time, but I couldn't find any wrestling near Nashville or any training near Nashville. So I told myself, if I really want to be serious about this, I have to fully commit myself to this. So in January of this year, January of 2022, I quit my job in Nashville, and then I came down to Georgia and trained at the Nightmare Factory. So I trained at the Nightmare Factory from January to April. And then ever since my camp showcase in April, I've just been, just doing the best I can, trying to get a name out there and wrestle as many matches as I can and get more experience in.
So what was your training like?
It was awesome. So I didn't know what to expect. In my mind, I was like, I hope they have weights or whatever and we could work out a little bit. But the training experience was amazing because for 2 hours, we would train with strength and conditioning. So we had a trainer, a coach, and he would, lay out different exercises for us to do. It was a great, high class kind of workout area with a lot of equipment. And it was at Hammersmith Sports, which had they also train NFL players. They train softball players, just every sport. And it was ran by that facility is found by Chip Smith. And so he's trained a lot of different sports like tennis players and just everything. So that was something I wasn't, expecting. And it was a lot of skills and everything that, you could take with you in the future exercise wise. So we did strength and conditioning for 2 hours, had an hour break. And then after that, we did the professional wrestling training. And so it was a 12-week camp. The first probably month was, learning the basics and learning, holds and stuff. But then we started focusing on matches more. So we did a lot of matches, which was great. And, we got to wrestle different people with those matches. Our coaches would watch us and, they would give us feedback. So it was a really good experience. The coaches, they were great. They knew a lot. Of course, we had Coach Cody Rhodes, and then also QT Marshall. They were the head two coaches. But when they were on TV or when they were too busy, then we had other coaches as well. Luke Sampson, Barry Morales, Baron Black. So yeah, it was fun. It was, and that too, with having all those different styles of wrestlers as coaches, because Barry is more luchador style. So it's just nice having, different coaches with different backgrounds. But then the students in my class also, we all had different backgrounds also too. So it's just nice having that kind of mixture, learning different things that way. And yeah, interacting with each other and trying to do matches and see what different skill sets everybody, has and what they can improve on.
Yeah, I mean, and it sounds like to get where you are now as far as the training aspect of it, that, you have to pick up a little bit here and there of different styles to kind of make it your own.
Sorry, it broke up a little bit. Can you repeat that?
Sure, yeah. It sounds like that to get where you were to where you are now, you have to pick up some different styles and kind of make it your own.
Right. Yeah, pick up different styles and, see what move sets that, you're better at, what your strengths are. And then, how that works for your gimmick or your persona, your wrestling persona seeing what strengths you have that wise. So if you want to be the good guy or if you want to be the bad guy, what moveset's going to be more impactful? But then also interacting with the crowd. How do you interact with the crowd? And one of the things I also loved about the training is that they would, always be like, keep your face up. Like, they would kind of train us for TV. They would say, this is the hard cam. Or they would say, like, while you're in the ring, like, if you get hurt by a move or something, still keep your face up so the crowd can see you and so the camera can see you. So I liked that too, because, that's something that you initially always think of. But in order to tell the story, the crowd has to see your face, and it also just helps keep them engaged.
So what promotions have you worked for since you've gone full-time with this?
Since I've gone full-time, the main two promotions that I've worked have been Georgia Premier Wrestling and then Platinum Championship Wrestling, both located in Georgia. So I went back to, I focused on training still from April to July. I would still go to the night classes, and I wanted to get more training under my belt to make sure I was ready or felt prepared, and also to build a confidence level, because I was just like, I'm not sure if I'm ready. I haven't had a match yet, all these other things. So those two promotions here in Georgia are the main ones that I've worked for.
Do you have any promotions in that area or around the East Coast that you'd like to work for that you haven't yet?
Oh, yeah, there's many promotions that I would love to work for. In Georgia, and that's the great thing, too, about coming from, like, Tennessee. Tennessee has a rich professional wrestling history, but there's a lot of indie promotions here in Georgia. So there's a lot that I would like to work for. Deep South Wrestling, there's Anarchy Wrestling, there's Wrestle America. But even, just how you said East Coast, like, what comes to mind is Capital Championship Wrestling, because they're heavily female-based. And I think that's more up in Delaware kind of area, but still just, getting, like, even just traveling and trying to get your name out there in different territories and different areas. But also, like, I want to just kind of focus on where I'm at right now to build that strength and build, that foundation that I can keep growing on, and still working with other people from different styles so I can understand their movesets better, and say vice versa.
So in regards to the promotions you've worked for now, what is it like getting a match set up? It's
sometimes too, I've had promotions where either the booker, like, they'll tell us, they already know ahead of time who's going to face who. But at one promotion, it's just kind of like you show up, and then the booker there sees what wrestlers are there, who he has to work with, and then puts the matches together. So then once you know your opponent, it's a lot of, just talking to each other, kind of setting up, like, like going over what each other's moveset is, and, what you want to avoid, or what you do, like things that you really want to land in the ring. So it's just a lot of communication with the person that you're going to go out in the ring with, and, setting up a plan and everything like that.
Would you say that you're like a high flyer, or like a brawler, or a submission specialist, or just kind of like a little bit of everything?
I would say, so I'm not a high flyer, but I would love to be a little bit of everything. I would love to have a lot of skill sets in that range, just a range of different various moves and styles. But I would say more so like a powerhouse kind of moveset, more like big, kind of powerful, impactful moves. Mostly like suplexes, sidewalk slams. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, that's all. Yeah, so I would just say more of like a powerhouse, like body slams and things like that, more of a power style.
Gotcha. Yeah, and so how many matches have you had, and do you have any to date that kind of stick out as one of your favorite, if not multiple favorites?
Gotcha. I've had 7 matches so far. And so I would say, well, Platinum Championship, they have a really fun crowd. So I wrestled against the Creeps, which is Irvin West and Andy Ripley, or I don't know what Andy's last name is. But anyways, I'm pretty sure it's Andy Ripley. But it was fun wrestling because I wrestled Irvin, I wrestled the guy, and they are like a tag team. And like at one point, they did like a twin magic thing because they both look very similar. So while the ref was distracted, like the other one got in the ring to do certain moves. So that was just kind of fun because also too at Platinum Championship, like you can use that kind of creativity to just do like, something different and like the crowd takes it in. But also at Georgia Premier Wrestling, they have a really good crowd too. Like the crowd's really engaged. With that promotion, my gimmick is a treasure hunter. So I would pass out like treasure to the kids in the crowd. And so they started like chanting treasure, like treasure, treasure, treasure. So that was a really fun, cool moment too. But
that's
I also just love
really
tag teams. Cool.
Yeah, that's really neat.
Getting them engaged.
Yeah. And that right there is a lot of the work, is getting somebody to get hooked.
Right. Yeah. Because, and also too, they might not remember your name because like they called me Treasure because, they didn't remember the name Ryan Hawthorne, but still it's like, what was that something that stuck out to them? Because after the first time I did it, I was like, oh, like they really love this. So then, even just that sticking with the crowd, like something that makes an impact, something that leaves a mark.
Yeah. A lot of times people don't remember names. They don't remember what you did. They just remember how you made them feel in that moment.
Most definitely.
So, what do you have coming up in the next month or two?
Next month or two, still wrestling for Georgia Premier and Platinum. Georgia Premier wrestles once a month, and then Platinum is every other month. So wrestling with those, and then also still trying to reach out to other promotions through like, connections I have there. Trying to reach out to Deep South, trying to reach out to Main Event, Underground, things like that. So yeah, I'm still, continuing the stories that I have going at the two promotions I'm working at, but also still trying to reach out to other promotions and see, if I can work for them.
So, I've got two more things I wanted to ask you really quickly. And one of those is, what do you think about the way the territories are starting to make a resurgence? And do you think at some point you'd want to work for the big four companies?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. I think it's great that the territories are resurging and like, different areas having different promotions. Cause I mean, it's wonderful having the big companies and being able to watch it on TV, but just even having, the ability to go out to the shows, to a local show, if it's around your area, or, drive a little bit out of your way and just see wrestling. Cause it helps so many up and coming wrestlers make a name for themselves, get crowd reactions, get experience in the ring. But it's just, it also is, you get to see so much variety when there's so many different territories. And I think it's really cool too, how, each different territory could probably have like its own certain style that's, or taking even the top people from different territories and then having them face each other. So like just different indie wrestling companies building up a name for yourself in this city. And then, having a top star in another city build up, their own name. But then once they meet together, then that builds even more excitement. But yeah, I would definitely love to work for any of the big four companies in the future. I mean, I love my coaches. I coach QT Marshall. He works at AEW. And then Cody Rhodes, he works at WWE. So it's really cool also like having those coaches and then also like seeing them on TV the same week as like the week that they were in the ring training with you. But any promotion like out there, I would love to work for.
So if you had to pick a Mount Rushmore of wrestlers, past or present, who would they be and why?
For me personally, my Mount Rushmore would be probably Diamond Dallas Page, Razor Ramon. Let's see. Either Sasha Banks or Bailey. Or you know what? Yeah, well, actually like the Four Horsewomen even. Well, even like, yeah, the Four Horsewomen. If I could put them all together as one head, I would do that. And then who else? Jake the Snake. So the reasons why I choose them, I love Diamond Dallas Page. Diamond Dallas Page was always one of my favorites when I was younger. And the fact that he started wrestling when he was 35, I think that's amazing. but also like I know like he's the hard work that he put in and like into training. One of our coaches at the Nightmare Factory too was Glacier, and so Glacier and DDP, they're very close. And just hearing about like the work ethic that Diamond Dallas Page has, and even how he still now has, just and seeing what he's done for wrestling, seeing how much he helped Scott Hall and Jake the Snake and things like that. Seeing the positivity impact that he has, but even just DDP yoga. Like he's just overall such a phenomenal person in my mind. But even his wrestling style, I love his wrestling style as well. And he had some really great matches in WCW. And I was when I was growing up, I watched more WCW than I did WWE. But yeah, Diamond Dallas Page, I think he's great work ethic, good motivation and drive in him. I would say Razor Ramon, because Razor Ramon's just fun. He had like, and also just like the razor blades like on his gear was always fun. That's another person who like he was able to make an impact with his gimmick. So I love like a powerful gimmick, where it's just when you see it, it's kind of like awe-inspiring. I said the 4 Horsewomen because I got back in when I started wrestling again in 2018. That's when the women's revolution was still happening in wrestling, specifically in WWE. And the 4 Horsewomen of like NXT, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair. I mean, all of them are just great. They're great by themselves, but also the way they're able to tell stories, the way that their characters have developed and everything like that. So growing up watching wrestling, I didn't see a lot of representation for, women wrestlers. It was usually like the divas. It would be supermodels that they would train. But like having women wrestle who grew up loving wrestling and then seeing them like make all these groundbreaking things, all like the first time, like the first Hell in a Cell that Charlotte and Sasha did. And even now still, like the first women's ladder match with Bayley and Bianca Belair, all these groundbreaking things that they're able to do together. But one of my favorite matches is definitely from the TakeOver, where it was the Iron Man match between Bayley and Sasha. And that match is just phenomenal. So just being able to see them give women's wrestling that platform and seeing them, really change the game, and then I said Jake the Snake because there's so much power in kind of having like a loud character like Razor Ramon, but also there's so much power in the psychology that Jake the Snake has because he's more of the quiet character, but it's still enough that it leaves an impact where it's like, oh man, this guy's menacing. And like the Snake was Damien the Snake was just even an added touch to it. But he knew a lot about psychology, and even in his promos, having like a calm voice while talking, you don't have to scream or shout or yell, but still just kind of that, how serious it is, and how like good the match is about to be, even when you don't have to be loud about it.
I love those choices, and you're so right.
I love wrestling.
So I know I found you on Instagram, but where can our listeners find you on social media?
Gotcha. So yes, I also have Twitter. My Twitter handle is Ryan Hawthorne X, and then my Facebook page as well is Ryan Hawthorne. So yes, Ryan Hawthorne X is my Instagram handle, and that's also my website. I have the URL, but I still have to build my website some more. But Ryan Hawthorne X is the username that I use for most of my sites.
Well, I want to thank you for taking time out to chat with me. I'm so sorry about the technical difficulties.
No problem.
And, I wish you the best. And it seems like, you really love what you do, which is very important. And you're going to do great things, of course, which is great.
Yes. Thank you for taking the time, and thank you for reaching out. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I hope you have a good rest of the afternoon.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Bye-bye.